This is my tribute to Bob Glidden with excerpts from Competition Plus Legend Series interview. Welcome to Dragboss Garage, Bob Glidden. Anything that led to your success that you can tell me about?
We had so many good things happen, I couldn't say that one or two or three or four particular things overshadow anything else.
Well, here they are, the world finalists and pro stockers at the Ontario Motor Speedway. On my right from Indiana, Bob Glidden. On my left is Dyno Don Nicholson out of Atlanta, Georgia. Have you two faced each other before this year, Bob Glidden?
Yes, we met in the finals at Indianapolis.
And how did that come out?
I won that one.
You won that one. Are you ready to try and get him again today?
Yeah, I hope I got a surprise for him. We just put a new engine in, and I hope it'll run better than we've been running.
Now, because of low ET, you can choose the lane you want. Which lane will you elect?
I'm not going to tell him that until we come up the stage.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I guess all I get is what's left over.
Bob, you dominated the 1978 Pro Stock season with your 351 Clevelands. Did you follow anybody else's program?
Well, I wasn't concerned about what Grumpy or Don Carlton or Dyno Don Nicholson or any of those guys were doing. I was just trying to figure out what we were doing.
This is the car of Bob Glidden. Away into competition in the grand finale. It is Glidden out in front of Nicholson. Glidden on the far side is pulling away. He's going to win this by over a car length. Bob Glidden wins in the World Finals for Pro Stockers here in California.
Bob, what do you think about the cars you raced back in Pro Stock compared to, modern Pro Stock cars?
I don't know that there would be any relationship between what we did then and what the guys are doing today. They're in a different world with their cars today than we were. I mean, these cars are, they know everything that's happening with the car.
Bob, I really appreciate you being here at Dragboss Garage. How did you come up with racing a 78 Ford Fairmont?
Well, over the years, back in the small block engine era, we kind of got to the point where we dominated, and NHRA, to try to make things more even, put weight on me, or more pounds per cubic inch, and took weight off of the GM cars. And then they came up with this deal where different wheelbase cars had different weight brakes. And we built the Fairmont because with the same engine, it could weigh less than the other Ford vehicles. And that was a 2-week wonder, that Fairmont. Don Hardy Race Cars built the car. Albert Clark at Albert Clark Chevrolet on the west side of the state painted the car overnight, his guys, and we took it to a points meet in Cincinnati, Ohio, which back in those days, Pro Stock had to run division points meets, and set the record and won the race. First time out with the car. The only reason we stopped racing that was because of the Chrysler program that came along.
Bob, I'm dedicating this video to you and your family, and that was my favorite car, the Fairmont. What did you think of it?
The Fairmont, well, I loved that car. I mean, it was a horrible looking box car, but I think we went a complete calendar year and never lost one round of racing with that car.
The 1978 Pro Stock season for Bob Glidden started out with him racing his trusted Pinto. He raced 4 races and won 2 out of those 4 races, with the last one being a loss to Richie Zool at National Trail. The next stop was Summer Nationals, Englishtown, New Jersey. This is where he debuted his 14-day wonder, the 1978 Ford Fairmont. Everybody was at this track at this time. It was raining, so they had to race between rain, but they were able to finish the race. Everyone was there. There's Big Daddy's rail, a ton of Ford and Chevys and Pontiacs and Mercurys, AMC in the pits. Stands were full. And let's not forget about the Mopars. They're ruling the strips. With the rain, there is plenty of time to look around the pits and check it out. And what do you think Bob Glidden was doing at the 78 Summer Nationals while the track was drying off? Throwing quarters. There's Etta Glidden there. Looks like Larry Morgan might even be standing there. The staging lanes are filling up, and guess what? Bob Glidden has to race Wally Booth in the semifinal with his mean AMC Hornet. Wally Booth, we need to get you on the Dragboss Garage live chat. Be a rockin' show. Check out those AMC heads right there. Here we go.
The American Motors Hornet of Wally Booth. He parlayed a hole shot in the previous round against Mark Ewell to make it this far in competition, but he faces the #1 qualifier Bob Glidden in the Ford Fairmont. Leaving the line side by side, the horsepower of the Ford pays off at the finish line. Glidden 8.55 seconds at only 149 miles an hour. You see here the lead that Glidden had at the finish line. Here's Steve Evans.
Well, it says #2 in his window, and that means he finished #2 in the world last year. But this year, you're very apt to be #1.
Well, it's a long year yet, but if things keep going good for us, we very well could finish one.
This is the first national event for the brand new Ford Fairmont. You got to be delighted.
We had a lot of problems the first couple of qualifying days, but at this point, we're tickled.
Looks like Lombardo has the hole shot on Glidden. But just hold on. I love this Bob Glidden quote. Jenkins was kind of running his jaws, so I pulled the chute on him about 1,000. Glidden said, pausing to laugh. What do you think powered this 14-day wonder? Of course, Pro Stock 351 Cleveland, de-stroked to, I heard, 332 cubic inch when it was first raced, and his favorite motor was a 343 cubic inch Cleveland with furnace braze cylinders. Look at the intake, how it's all welded up in epoxy to straighten those runners. That's why he hit his intakes. A lot of work there. And his whole family raced with him. There's Etta, and Rusty at that time was 10, and Billy was 13. The car ran a UR19, twin Dominators, Alenco. It was hooking big time. It picked up low ET at the Summer Nationals with an 855. Yeah, and Warren Johnson was also there, and he ran the fastest mile an hour at 158.45. Live on, Bob Glidden.
To the National Hot Rod Association, and we're ready now for the finals in Pro Stock Eliminator. Bob Glidden debuted a brand new car at this event. Very seldom does a brand new car make it to the finals. Bob Glidden has got it in the finals against the Chevrolet Monza of Bill Grumpy Jenkins. Larry Lombardo intently concentrating on the Christmas tree. The classic Ford versus Chevrolet battle as Glidden goes against Lombardo for the Pro Stock title. They leave the line together, and Glidden appears to be lengthening a lead that takes him to the title. 8.55 seconds at 154 miles an hour. In instant replay, you see them approaching the finish line as Glidden extends the lead that he held from the very start. Let's go to Steve Evans with the Pro Stock champion, Bob Glidden.
Well, Bob Glidden, after some bad luck this year in final rounds, you pulled this one off. You seemed very alert on the starting line. Did you think Lombardo was really gunning for you right there?
Well, when you're lucky enough to win some races, everyone guns for you, and Larry is a good driver. I think the starting line was a good leave, and it seemed to be our day to win.
Well, before this year is out, you're liable to change that 2 on your window to a 1 and be the world champion.
I'd love it. I hope we.
Well, he won the Summer Nationals. This is a great picture of the Glidden family. They raced and worked together and won. Next stop was Sand Air Superspeedway, where he won again. Loaded up and off to Indy, the U.S. Nationals, where he raced Joe Satmary in the final.
The final of Pro Stock Eliminator, Bob Glidden and the Ford. In the far lane, the Chevrolet of Joe Satmary. Satmary from Merrillville, Indiana, has his work cut out for him. Glidden has been in the finals of 11 straight national events. He has won 17 national titles. Glidden, debuting a new Ford Fairmont in the middle part of this season, has absolutely dominated Pro Stock racing since that time. The burnout's completed, approaching the starting line. Glidden in the Ford, Satmary in the Chevrolet. A lot of RPM, and they leave the line together. Glidden pulling an early lead. At the middle of the course, he extends it, and it is Bob Glidden winning the race. 8.61 seconds elapsed time, a speed of 146 miles an hour, indicating he shut it off early, backed out of it as he approached the finish line.
Next stop, Pacific Raceway, September 24th, 1978. What do you think? Yeah, he took it again. Takes home the win. I love that car. It's my favorite. Check that out. Look at the size of those primaries. Those are 2 1/4 inch. Imagine trying to get the bolts in on that. And this is the only picture I've ever seen like this. Side shot. Yeah, here we go.
Drag racing in Ontario, the huge complex just outside of Los Angeles. The first final we're going to see is the Pro Stock competition. Larry Lombardo against defending champion Bob Glidden. These machines are based on production type American cars, extensively reworked from front to rear. They burn service station gas. Carl?
Frank, Larry Lombardo is known as a hole shot artist. He's got a reputation as being the first off the starting line every time.
Glidden, one of the most dominant figures in the sport. He's won 19 events since 1973, and in the Ford Fairmont he's racing, he's unbeaten since its debut back in July. Bob Glidden, Larry Lombardo, the Pro Stock Finals. They're in the staging area. And ready. And Lombardo's got himself a hole shot. Glidden will have to come from behind on this one. Pouring on the steam, and it is Glidden, the winner. Bob Glidden wins the Pro Stock Eliminator competition in the time of 8.61 seconds. And as Carl mentioned, Lombardo really gets off the dime with a hole shot here, and Glidden has to come on strong in the stretch to win it by a matter of inches. Our first champion is crowned, and here's Carl with Bob Glidden.
Well, Bob, you did it the hard way coming from behind, but there's that number 20 rounds in a row and 7 national event wins. You've tied an all-time NHRA record here today. How do you feel?
That's great. We've had such a great year at this point. This is just a cap off of a great year.
Well, there you go. Bob Glidden won the World Finals and the 1978 NHRA Pro Stock Championship, and many others with the help of his family. The undefeated 1978 Ford Fairmont. Last known whereabouts, Marco de Sirius's garage. Thank you, Bob Glidden, for piquing my interest in the 351 Cleveland in 1975. I've been infatuated with it ever since. You are a true Pro Stock champion. You will forever live on in our minds and our hearts, Bob Glidden. Live on.